Hi, my name is Christopher Heyer,
And I'm Edric Boyantis.
and our rhetoric figure we picked is Elizabeth Cady Stanton. Some biographical information. According to Britannica, Elizabeth Cady Stanton was a speaker and leader for women's rights for the women's rights movement. She was born on November 12th, 1815 in Johnstown, New York. Some accomplishments she's achieved is she helped petition the state of New York legislator to grant a bill that married women's property rights in 1848, which allowed married women to own property. She viewed the Declaration of Independence as unfair because of the exclusion of women's rights. In 1854, she gave a speech to New York legislature to pass legislation for married women to have rights to their wages and equal charge to their children. And in 1863, she helped organize the Women's National Loyal League to petition for the Emancipation Proclamation. Why women are left out of traditional rhetoric canons. Elizabeth Cady Stanton and many other female rhetorics have been left out of in the history of rhetoric. The reason for this kind of dates back to the origins of ancient Greece, where it was only taught to land-owning and wealthy men. According to Katie Rich and Jill Glenn, they said that Aristotle's rhetoric and audience were powerful citizen class land-owning men who discussed and voted on issues that in the agora where they participated in the life they believe in. Another reason why women are left out of rhetoric history is because the double standard between male and female rhetorics. I think Katie Rich and Cheryl Glenn explained it pretty well, stating that for too long the arbiters of canonically acceptance operated on the basis of X plus one. Whenever a woman accomplishes the same goal as her male counterpart, whether that's theorizing, public speaking, successful arguments, persuasive letter writing, for example, the stakes immediately rose. She may have achieved X, but she needs X plus one to earn a place in rhetoric. Contributions to rhetoric. Women rhetorics who wanted to persuade audience found that they weren't as effective or weren't as taken serious compared to their male counterparts. However, Sand found a way to draw her audience's attention by using sympathy and ethos in her rhetoric in her speeches. According to JSTOR, they explain that Sand evidently expects her audience to envision the scene to feel the binding iron boot, the intense heat, and the burning funeral pile, and ultimately, through these means, identify with the women. A good example that they talked about was how in 1854, where she was giving out a speech to New York legislators for the Women's Properties Rights Act, her opening line to her speech was where she asked the male audience to envision like or put themselves in women's shoes and how they would feel, not owning property.
So why should we study Elizabeth Cady Stanton when studying rhetoric? Well, her writings and speeches were often controversial, but her ideas towards women's rights challenged societal norms at the time. And her work offers very important ideas for feminist rhetoric, women's studies, and 19th century oratory. And Stanton, in her speeches, used emotional appeals, in other words, ethos, very effectively, using it to gain her sympathy and support towards her cause. As we saw in her biography, she had a speech towards the New York State legislator, and um, it worked because she was able to get women's voting rights in that state. So, how can we use Stan's teachings today? Well, her work is very valuable when it comes to gender equality and feminism, and that is still applicable today in today's world, as we could see. For like, if for example, like gender equality in the workplace, there's still like differences in pay between males and females. And as for the rhetoric side of things, we can learn from her innovative emotional appeals. Again, I reiterate, she used sympathy to help her gain support towards her cause.
Yep, and that
And
was our
that's it.
slideshow. Thank you.
Thank you.